Hi everybody, can you believe it's already August 27, 2020, 2024? I hope you're all doing wonderful. As for me, I'm doing the best I can. That's all we can do, just live our lives and be happy. So I've always wanted to do this. We're going to go say hello and how are you, and I hope you're all doing well. And that I love you, of course. Um, I've been showing you a lot of videos on how I do my art and clay projects. Well, I've always wanted to do sculpting, but not the sculpting that you do with clay, the original clay from the earth. I mean sculpting from the clay that I make, the homemade clay that I make. If you're interested in that, I have a YouTube video and I also have a video on, or at least a link on my Facebook page. Because my name is Joanne Guitra. I am no longer I have my maiden name, let's just say that. I'm so happy for that. It's a new chapter in my life. It's a new journey. I have a lot of enthusiasm that life is going to be so much more better for me than it was before. And I want to thank somebody that really has turned that around for me. It's been a comfort and a joy to me. So having people that support you when they can, because a lot of us are busy with our lives, and I understand that, because I used to have some very tedious work that caused that I had to have my constant attention, and I always had to focus on what I was doing, because when you have a tedious job or career, you have to focus on that. So I understand. There's nothing that I don't understand unless somebody points it out to me. But all in all, I do understand responsibility, and I do understand when somebody has something very important to do. So me, I'm retired, and I am just now a hobbyist. People ask me, why aren't you selling your wares or what I'm doing? I just have worked all my life. I had tedious work. I've always worked maybe one or two jobs at a time to support my family, because that's what we do when we love our family, and we do that. We support our family. We help them out, especially when you have children. You're going to make sure that they have a roof over the head, and they're well nourished, and they're well grounded, and their education is at the highest level that you want to see them. And if when they're gone and they leave the nest, because mine have left the nest, they're all on their own, and you see them progressing, and you see them going out in their own journeys, and they're doing their own thing, and you look at them, you say, boy, all that came from me. But again, they develop their own characteristics as they get older, and they can, of course, they're going to have their own responsibilities. So I'm an empty nester, and I've been an empty nester for a long time. I know it's been over 14, 15, 16 years. I know they're all gone. My grandchildren are in their 20s. So go figure, they're not little babies. And I love them, and they have my grandchildren have their own lives ahead of them, and they're adults now, so they have to see things the way adults see them. Well, all in all, let's get back to my sculpting and my art clay work. That's what I call it. Paper mache is just that. Paper mache. Paper mache, there's two types. There is the paper mache that you make when you make piñatas. So when you're making paper mache, just basic paper mache, you're just using glue and paper. That's it. Newspaper clippings, old articles, junk mail, and you're cutting them and adding them to something that it can adhere to. So what I use is a balloon. Simple, simple, simple. Now there's different types of balloons. There's short ones, long ones, there's different types of balloons, because you see the clowns, those clowns that get the balloons and they blow them up, and they're long ones, short ones, and they can make all kinds of things out of them. Well, basically that's what you would adhere your paper to. You get a brush or your fingers, or you dip the newspaper article onto the balloon, and then you just keep layering it. So what I did is I I layer mine at least 7 layers. And what I can come up with, if you wait a moment, I'll get you one of my projects so you can see what I can transform from just recycled materials. Of course, the balloon is not recycled, it is made. So give me a moment. I should have had that over here, but I forgot to bring it. And I'm wearing my nice comfy clothes. So, and I've made different types of art projects. These are not the only ones I've made. I've made a lot. And I've given at least 15 of these beautiful art. I call it art, clay art. I have given them away as gifts. So here's one of the ones I kind of first started with. I don't know if you can see that. Let's kind of dim the light a little bit. And this is what paper mache looks like. These were the first ones. These are not as thick as I've learned. This does not have the second type of paper mache clay that you can find on my YouTube video, and that's different. The moldings are done from homemade, what they call air dry clay. I haven't made a video of that. I did make a video, but I noticed there were some inconsistencies. I forgot to mention some things, so I just deleted it, and I'm going to make another video. Here's a different one that I made. Again, this doesn't have the paper mache clay that I make homemade, but look, these make beautiful gifts, and Christmas is coming, so learn to make something and recycle something so you can give them as gifts. Leave a piece of you in somebody's house. Now, I'm going to show you a totally different one that is made with not only paper, the balloon, as you can see, it's round, the balloon, and I glue the paper over and over and over again, and then I use metallic colors and make it look like this. Now, this one is a little heavier, because this one is made with the paper mache, pardon me, with the balloon that I layered, made 7 layers, but then I used the paper mache clay. Now that's not the technical term for it, but that's what us who are doing paper mache call it, because there is no other word for it. They call it paper paste, they call it sculpting paper mache. So you pick out the one that you feel comfortable with, but just acknowledge to somebody that this is actually paper mache paste, but you can form it and sculpt it like a clay. Maybe that's a better term for it. And there it is. Hello. And I also added paper mache, I call it the clay, in the inside all the way around. And it literally looks like clay. It looks like, and this one is, I mean, super, super strong. And all this was just layered with blow up the balloon, papers, tear them up, glue that paper on the balloon, let it dry, and keep making layers and layers. You have to make it dry, you have to let it dry, then you add your second layer, etc., etc. I go up to 7 or even 6 layers. That's enough for me. But then I use my paper mache pulp. Okay, now here is where the kicker is. And this is all homemade air dry clay. No, I take that back. That was this one. This is the air dry. It's called air dry cold porcelain clay. This one is actual DOS clay that I bought from Amazon. This is actual what they call molding clay. And look at the fine details that I'm able to make this with. I think I need to turn this down some more, just so you can see the beauty that I created from just paper mache pulp. This is paper that what you do is you get your paper, like I said, news articles, junk mail. You know, I even use receipts that I know are old receipts, invoices that are like old. You know how you can save invoices for 10 years. Well, I save them. I save them for 10 years, and every 10 years I put them in a paper shredder, and then I use it for paper pulp. Now, how do you make paper pulp? Well, you take those papers that you shredded either on a shredding machine, and then you place it in a container. Well, after I shred it, it's in this huge box. I mean, it just looks like confetti all over the place. And then I take it and place it in a 5-gallon container. I smash it all down. I get hot boiling water, and I pour it, and it slowly absorbs all the water into that paper, and eventually that paper will dissolve to paper pulp. And that is the beginning of your paper mache sculpting base coat. I really don't know the technical term, because I've heard so many different forms of people using the term, but most of us say paper mache clay. We understand what it is. I'm trying to explain to you how it's used in our realm of artistic projects. Well, I'm going to put this away. It's that one here. I'm going to take these two and move them out the way, because now we're going to get to something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, or learn to do. I have never ever done it, but I have seen people do this on YouTube. Very few people have shown you the whole process of how to do it. I have a video on my other computer, which is a little more modern, the laptop, but that one doesn't have all the bells and whistles. But I do have a video that I have recorded, and I will download it on my YouTube channel, so you can see the whole process of how I not only download the free image, but how I take in that image, because when it comes in the paper, they look like little tiny little images. And then if you have the correct printer, you can take that little image and fit it to the page, and it'll be enlarged, and then you can make what I'm going to show you now. So I did all that process, and this is just paper, just some paper, and I made my own envelope. I'm thrifty and I like to save things. Well, this was from and I'm going to get it right now. Hold on. I've learned a lot on how to make everything without having to spend lots and lots of money. So in this little tiny envelope, of course I made my own envelope from just recycled paper. I don't throw things away. A little tape. I made an envelope. So this is the image I'm going to show you of, pardon me, there's no other way I could have done that. Let me see. It's not in there. Let's see, that's number 2. Let me get my reading glasses, let me see, because of my eye. It's in here somewhere, so you know which one I'm talking about. That's 3. I hope I didn't lose number 1. Who knows, maybe I did. These are so tiny to lose. Here it is. Okay, so I found number 1. Let me scoop these out. And again, I did that because there's no other way to, they're so tiny. Okay, when you print out all these forms from this website. It's called Heck Creations. Heck something. What the heck? But anyway. And you get your free image. When you print it on that 8x10, they're all on this page this tiny, which is 10 centimeters, okay? So after you've taken it from the page, these little tiny cutouts you're going to cut out, you then take it to your computer, and if your computer has a scan, which mine does, it's a laser scan, I'm able to scan that little image and I place it in the middle of the scanner, and then I click fit to page. I only have to click fit to page once, and then I hit scan. It scans that image, and lo and behold, you will then have that little number 1, and there it is. And I did that with each and every piece. Well, each and every piece, which is 21 pieces that I scanned. And I've got all 21 pieces here. So I've never sculpted ever on anything. So this image looks like, get the paper. It's in here somewhere. It's just, I have to pay for all this already. This is what the sculpting mask is going to look like. I probably have to turn the light down low again. Let me take a quick peek. Yeah, now you can see it. Now, all these pictures that I showed you, I have to cut them all out first. And I have to cut them out very, very carefully, that the way the image is. Once I cut them out, I have to tape them or glue them all together to create this mask. Once you do that, then the sky's the limit. You can add paper mache clay, or if you have the money, you could buy clay. You know, they do sell clay. They do sell air dry clay. So, or if you make your own clay, you can make your own air dry clay. And that's what I did. I made my own air dry, and I can't turn the light back on. I made my own air dry clay. And there are a lot of recipes on YouTube on how to make that. And I know that 99.5 of you are going to have all the ingredients you need. It's all in the kitchen. And that's what makes this really exciting, because you don't have to go out and spend hundreds of dollars buying clay. You don't have to buy a pottery wheel. You don't have to buy a kiln, because these are not going to be placed in a kiln. A kiln is a electrical machine that you have to have a special outlet for it to make it pottery. You know, the kind of pottery where you have coffee cups and plates. I'm not doing that kind of work. This is just paper mache. So here I am. I made my own little envelope. That's going to go away. Done. So I'm going to just show you one. I'm going to take the number 1, okay, and I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to cut it out just to show you how it looks. So I'm going to put my reading glasses on, and of course you're going to know all the other pieces have to be cut out. There's 21 pages of this. So I'm going to cut it 1/4 of an inch away from the original outline, and I'll let you know why. So probably 1/16 of an inch, not that much. So I have to be very, very careful. I should have a pair of sharper scissors, but I don't. So what's good about what I'm doing is I'm recycling and I'm saving the planet. That's what we want to do. We want to recycle, teach our future generation that we are the generation, baby boomers, that are going to save our planet. We're going to save it from being destroyed. We're going to save it from all the hectic issues that are having right now. Only we can do that. Nobody else is going to be able to do that but us. We've got to do it as soon as possible for the next generations to live here. And here's the kicker. This paper is going to be utilized for my next pulp. So I'm not throwing these papers away. They're being utilized. So I'm not just throwing this stuff away. I'm very happy using it. Now, what you will need is cardstock. That's one thing you may have to spend money on. But if you don't have cardstock, you know what works best? A cereal box. You know those really thin cereal boxes, or you get those noodles that come in a box, or you buy those cup of noodles, or noodle soup that comes in a box. Just, it looks like cardstock. Here's an example. You know, cardstock from a thin box. You could utilize that, but I'm not using that because, first of all, for me it's too thick. But cardstock, you can buy it in different grams, in different weights. So I'm going to take this paper, and I have a box where I'm always placing leftover paper. Okay, now I want to get, this is just the one. I'm just going to show you one, because if I want to upload it on YouTube, cutting and doing over and over again, it's going to take a lot of time. So here is my cardstock. This is 100-pound cardstock. You hear it? It's thick. I'm going to take this down. I'm going to try to lower the light. Probably have to flip it. Nope, that didn't work very good. Okay, let's go back. I'm going to change the true light to a different color. There it is. Okay, I hope you can see that. And I can get a lot of cuts out of here. Okay, so I have to take this image. You can tape this down, or you can hold this down. I'm just going to hold it down. I see no reason for me to try to tape this down on this cardstock. So I'm going to find a tool. I know it's in here somewhere. Just give me a moment. To score this is what I'm saying. So I'm going to find a tool so I can score this. And I should have cut this a little closer now that I think about it, but that's okay. Well, actually, I may still be able to do this. I don't know. Let's see if I can score this. I probably need a more thinner. Let's see if I can score this. You can't see it. Let me get a thinner one. That looks like it might work. I have to really look at it. Pardon me. So you really want to score that down on a piece of paper. I should have cut it. I should have cut this paper a little bit more closer to the outline, but I didn't. But again, I'm learning just like you. This is the very first time I am doing this. I've never done this before. So we are actually learning together. And I am sharing my ideas with you as we do this together. We should always have an independence of ourselves, of what we're going to do. Now you also want to score the perforated lines that they have here, where you're going to do the folding, in other words. And I have strong paper. This paper isn't cheap paper. I buy the good paper when I go shopping for the paper because I know I do a lot of arts and crafts projects. I want my paper to not only last, see it's not cutting through this. And this is a very sharp object, so you can imagine how sharp, how strong this paper is. Okay, I can see the image. Okay, I know you can't see it, but I can see it. So I'm looking, and I need to turn this around. Let's see. Down again. Make sure I've got it right on the money. Yep. Okay, so now I'm going to get my pen. That's one way of doing it. Now I'm going to take my pen and show you a different way, of course. And you might want to do it this way. It's really up to you. And again, this paper is really good paper. This is my copy paper. Comes in 500 sheets in a ream. Okay, here's the other way to do it. Now it's here. Oh, we have to make the, I forgot the perforated lines. So this is what I'm going to show you. Let me get my, I take my ruler and I'm going to place it on the perforated lines like this. Okay. And you could make perforated little dots. And then we'll go to the other end, or the other perforated line. Put that over. So you can make dots, whatever, just so you know that this is where you're going to be folding this particular mask. There's a whole lot of these you're going to do, so it isn't just like one. You're going to be doing a lot of these. So just to let you know, it's going to take some time. And my printer cannot print cardstock. I know a lot of you probably say, well, why didn't you just print it on your cardstock? No. Well, why aren't you using a Cricut? No. Because I had a Cricut, and I'm going to tell you that's going to take a lot of wear and tear. You could rip up your paper. I've run into a lot of problems. So when I have my Cricut, I only use it for like cardstock, or I'm going to use it for greeting cards. I don't use it for things like that anymore. I don't want to invalid my warranty. So I don't mind doing it this way. I think I get a lot of fun doing it this way because I can see every step of the way. I know it's correct because I did it. And then last but not least, this is where you're going to fold your mask in order to create that. Of course, in order to create that mask. And I don't mind, I have all the time, so I'm not in a rush to try to get this done in all in one day. I'm going to pace myself. The more you pace yourself in life, the better things will be for you. If you're trying to rush things, you know, you're bound to have a problem. Okay, so look, see? This is the original number 1. This is just number 1. And I would write number 1. They all have numbers on them. So here's another thing you have to do. This is going to be number 36 because all of those have to match with the numbers of the other pieces. This is 28, so 28 is going to match with 28 on this end. 34 is going to match 34 over here. This is number 5. This is number 33. So when you start attaching this to the mask, you know where 37 and 37 on the other side is going to go. This is 1, this is 30, and this is 35. So I'm going to write number hashtag number 1 piece. So I'm going to look at all my numbers. Did I write the correct numbers? And some of them all have like 3 numbers. Okay, now I can take my cardstock, and believe me you, I'm going to use this cardstock for my recycled materials. This is going to take a lot longer to become pulp, but it will become pulp. And I can get some more pieces in here. This is it's 100 pound stock cardstock. Amazon sells it, so just go to Amazon and look for cardstock, and then look for the different pounds. They come in different pounds. Because I make birthday cards and greeting cards, you want a good cardstock. You don't want a flimsy cardstock. It won't hold up. These are the cards. This is the kind of cardstock you want to use for this type of project, and for boxes, like candy boxes, gift boxes, pastry boxes. You can make pastry boxes with your Cricut, which I've already done. Just be careful when you're cutting. It will come out nice. Don't doubt yourself. And there is the first piece. I'm going to move this out of the way. So say for instance I want to make this first piece. I'm going to get that ruler again. I'm going to lay it right there. And you probably need something to pick it up. There we go. And then I'm going to use my ruler. And if you have fingernails, you can fold that. Don't make it complicated. Make sure it's at the right corner. I don't need that to pick it up anymore. I'll have to use this to pick it up. I'm using this awing because it has a really sharp edge and I'm able to pick that up. And fold that down. To show you, still have this one. You're going to do a lot of folding, so if you're going to be doing something like this, but the end project is going to come out so pretty. Your project is going to look, everything is going to fit just right. So strongly, your mask is going to come out beautiful, in other words. One more itty bitty fold. I have to correct that one. I didn't do it right. And there it is. All these are going to be folded in this way. So now that you've got it folded, just fold it again so it'll have a nice edge to it, and it'll fold in correctly. Now the image that I have on this is not show you, which is kind of disappointing. That's the one thing I noticed, that when I did print this out, the thing they forgot to do on this free image is place all the numbers. But they do have a more detailed, just on this particular download. But if you look at your instructions, they do have a scan code for more frequently asked questions, for more detailed explanation about the mask. They also have their website. Then they also want you to go on their TikTok or Instagram and show them what you've made. Of course, they're telling you this design is free, unofficial, and exclusive, intended for personal use. Sale or distribution of this file constitutes an infringement of intellectual property. So do not sell these. But again, there is more detail and explanation on how to do this. So again, remember, when you start adding, like say for instance, this is the one, you want to add 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3. This is 1. Let's just, for instance, when the next piece I cut out, 1 will go with 1, etc., etc., etc. So again, they do have detailed information. You just have to scan their code. So number 1 is done. I folded it. Another thing I can do is just get them all prepared, have them all laid out, draw all the numbers, draw all the lines, and then go back and then start folding them all up one by one by one. There's 21 pieces. Once you do that, you want to get either glue or masking tape and start taping all those folds together. Like if 36, the other 36 would be here, 34 would be here, 28 would be here, 33, 5, 2, 37, 1, 35, and 30 would be here with number 2, which is the next one. And you will start seeing this mask come into shape. And then once you have that completely done, not anybody else will do this, I won't immediately start adding the I'm not going to add the sculpting clay. What I'm going to do is utilize this and do the paper mache. I'm going to get strips of paper. I'm going to start layering the mask. Once the mask is, I should keep that photo out. Once the mask is like this, some people will just paint it. You know, make a little Mardi Gras, add feathers, buttons, whatever you want to add, jewelry. You want to make it into a cat. Maybe you want to make cat eyes, paint it, and just make a cat or whatever. That's what's good about this. You can add 2 holes here, put a rubber band, and you've got your Halloween mask. But if you're going to go more advanced, like me, you can add the back of the head too. They do have the back of the head. You have to download it. Or I know they have the back of the head, but you have to, no, they actually have the free one. I apologize. They do have the back of the head, but it's a different pattern. But they do have that where you can put it all together and have the back as well. I haven't done that. I am going to do that so I can have a complete head, and like a, like a mannequin head. And I'm going to then start adding shredded paper glue. I'm going to start adding a layer. Just make sure that you keep the eyes cut out. You want those open. You don't want to add any glue and cover up this area. You're going to have to meticulously place a hole here. You might want to just put a little masking tape so you can peel it off. If you're going to place it over your head for like a Mardi Gras or for a mask for Halloween, you want to definitely add holes so you can breathe. If you're going to be talking through it, you're going to want to open up the slit, make a tiny slit so you can talk and breathe all at the same time. But if you're going to just make a sculpting head, like maybe you want to make Beethoven, something of that nature, you can make it whatever face you want, and then you don't cover up any of the eyes. Those are all done differently. But again, they have all this on this website for you to do it, more detail on the numbers, etc. So that's what I'm going to do. I have my card stock here, all my card stock here, and I'm going to start cutting out number 2. I'm going to put number 1 over there. If you add all the numbers correctly, you shouldn't have one problem doing this. That is your goal. So here we go. I'm going to cut this one out. Again, this paper is not going to waste. This time I'm going to cut right to the line. So I didn't do that to that one. And I'm going to show you. This one I'm cutting right to the line. And again, this paper is not being thrown away. See, it doesn't take very long to cut it out. You just have to have a nice pair of sharp scissors and be careful that you're following all the corners. And again, this paper is going with recycled paper. I'm bringing this one because look, I still can cut some other pieces here. So it's all about tracing. Let me get as close as I can to a particular spot, maybe turn it a little bit. So I utilize all these pieces. Remember I told you this paper is very thick, my recyclable, my printing paper. It's really good paper. Otherwise, if it wasn't, I wouldn't be able to do this. I'm not going to use the ruler, I'm just going to fold. And I'm not going to use to perforate it, I'm just going to make a line. I know that's going to be where I'm going to fold it. But for illustration purposes, they have it like this so you can see it. Just make sure you're following all those lines. did it again. I'm off the line. And you want to make sure it's right on the line, because if it's off, it's not going to fold in correctly. Like so. Maybe I should have just folded it in the very beginning, so it would have been a lot easier for me to do this. I'll remember that with the next one. And I'm going to fold. Okay, see? Now you want to look at everything and start writing numbers. This is number 5, 72, 33, 4, 2. Now, I don't know if that's 66 or 99, but I'm just going to write 66. Okay. This is number 3, this is 37, 69, number 1, number 6, and number 35. So number 2 is done. And instead of me folding it, I'm just going to cut it out. So I'm showing you different ways of doing this. If you want to start laying them out, maybe you want to do that tomorrow, maybe you want to just set them aside and do it another day. You'll have everything all ready. Lighting is really, really bad. Let me try to get a more light here. I can't see it. Pardon me. Okay, so that's just right. And if you went off like I did just a little bit, one of these I cut a little too much. I don't know where it's at. Maybe I didn't. And then you could start laying these flat. And when you've got them all cut out, then you could start folding them. I didn't perforate it like I did the other one, like this one, because I know this is going to be folded. Folded, folded, folded. That's what those lines are. And I can fold them by hand, or I can fold it with the ruler. So I'm going to take my number 1, number 2, and I'm going to turn the right side over. And I'm going to start laying these over here. And that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to keep myself busy, because we have a purpose in life. Go out and find your purpose. Be happy, be joyful, be thankful. I think this piece fits right here. It's gonna fit just, see. You could find pieces that may fit there. So that's what I'm going to do. And I hope you enjoy yourself today. And you're gonna have a really blessed day and enjoy it and be thankful. That's all I can say. Be thankful for what you have, your friends, your family, because those are the most important people in your life. People come and go in your life, and you have to accept that. You know, you can't hold somebody down. You can't force somebody down. You can't. If they want to leave, let them go. You just learned the lesson. I love you all.